Hi everyone, I'm here today. I'm Jane Christoffi and I'm an SSAT tutor at Right Track Educational Services. I'm here today to teach you about SSAT vocabulary development and how to create those wonderful flashcards that are going to make your life so wonderful in the next few weeks while you're preparing for the standardized test. So, why do you have to prepare vocabulary flashcards? Well, the verbal section in the test is worth 60 points. And 30 of those points are direct vocab questions involving synonyms. So you definitely need to prepare vocabulary for that section. The other 30 out of that 60 are analogy questions. And very often you're going to come across what they call stem words, or they're the key words in an analogy. Unfamiliar words are going to be the stem word in many cases. So in order to get as high a mark as possible in this section, I recommend to my students to spend a lot of time on vocabulary development. So how do you do that? How do you know what words are going to be chosen for the SSAT? Well, the problem is that nobody knows the answer to that except for the people who are creating the test. So what I recommend to my students is to get some lists from some of the SSAT resources that are available online at Amazon or at Chapters. So just whatever the SSAT books are, grab them. Basically, any standardized test vocabulary list is going to be relevant to your preparation for this test. So get your lists. In this case, I've got the Princeton Review here, and this is a very beginning list for the upper test, for the kids who are doing the upper test. So what I would ask those students to do is open it up to the page, grab a stack of flashcards, or index cards. These are going to be your flashcards. You're going to need some Sharpies and you're going to need a pen. And you're also going to need an elastic band for the very end when you wrap up all of your cards. Okay, so you've got your materials and you understand why you have to do these cards. So what happens next? So what I want you to do is take one of the words from the list. In this case, the first word on my upper level list is abandon. I know what abandon means. If I saw that on a test, a question where they're asking me to choose one of 5 that is the most similar to that definition, I would know how to do that because that's a familiar word for me. So I'm not going to make a flashcard for that. That would be a waste of time. So I'll skip to the next one, abbreviation. I don't need to make a card for that either. Abdicate. Now that's a word that I would probably, even at my age, want to know exactly what it means, and I would create a card. So the first thing I would do is get my cards, and with a Sharpie in one color, I'd write the word abdicate across the top. Then I'm going to take my laptop, and in the search field, I'm going to type the word abdicate. Up is going to pop up dictionary.com, a lot of different choices for discovering that definition. Choose the one that you like the most, maybe the top one. As you go through this process, there will be one link that you prefer over the others. When you're looking at the box that pops up, you'll see the word and all kinds of other symbols for how to pronounce it and so on. You'll see a definition, and then you're going to see a sentence. After that, usually in a different color, you're going to see a list of synonyms. This is the area that I ask my students to focus on only. I don't want you getting caught up in the sentence. I don't want you getting caught up in the definition. What I want you to focus on is the synonym, because that's what you're going to be asked on the SSAT. So for example, in this particular card example that I've made, I've got the word assert. So when I Googled it, I chose out of maybe about 8 choices of synonyms, the 2 that kind of rang a bell with me. Okay, so I chose declare and I chose argue. Okay, so now I'm going to check that off my list and I'm going to move to my next card. So now I'm going to go down my list and choose another word. And the next word that I've chosen is chasm. And what I've done here is I've shown the word chasm, I've shown 2 synonyms, and then I've drawn a small picture in the middle that is meaningful to me. And that picture is totally optional. That means sort of like a black hole or an open space. And as you're going through these lists, it's a good idea for students to choose their own way of kind of remembering a word. So notice there's no sentence, there's no definition. All I have are two synonyms in a different color towards the bottom of the card. I particularly like to put it in portrait as opposed to landscape. Students can choose the way they like to do it. Go through your list, make a whole bunch of them. The reason why I focus on the synonyms is because really what you're doing with these hundreds of words in your preparation is you're familiarizing yourself. I've got the word here. Familiarize yourself with the vocab. Don't memorize. You don't need to memorize. All you need to do is get to know the words because it's a multiple choice test. It's not like a history or a French or a science test where there's blanks and you've got to define important jargon. This is a list. You're going to get synonyms that say, choose one of 5 below that most closely relate to the STEM word. And so in this case, if they chose assert, one of the 5 might be declare or argue. So as I'm going through my pile of flashcards, I'm going to get to know the definition of assert. I'm going to get the feel for it, but I don't have to memorize its specific definition. Okay, what I'm showing you right now is my screen of my laptop, and I've just punched in the word chasm into my search engine, and up popped a box. Okay, and I chose the Merriam-Webster, maybe I chose dictionary.com, I'm not sure. But you can see that it shows one definition for it. So a deep fissure in the earth, rock, or another surface, and then a list of synonyms: gorge, abyss, cannon, ravine, blah, blah, blah. I chose abyss and cannon, and I drew that black circle. You remember that? So that's what it's going to look like on your computer screen when you pull something up. Do not write a sentence or a definition. You don't need that. You just need the synonyms. Out in your schedule, what are the fractions of time that you have in your day where you could be doing something, but you're not really doing anything? For example, you're sitting at the orthodontist waiting for your appointment. That's maybe 7 minutes. Maybe you're in the car on your way to hockey practice and you're with your mom. And that's a 15-minute ride. Maybe you're on the bus taking the TTC to school from home. These are fractions of time when you can be doing something. And what I like to ask kids is to take your little pack of flashcards, take a chunk of them, and just have it with you. Have it with an elastic band. And what I want you to sort of think about is trying to find 10 minutes every day between now and when you write your SSAT to review a little stack of these cards. So what I want you to do is just go through it. Quietly to yourself, you're sitting on the bus and you say debt, bill account, debt, over-leveraged, debt, obligation. Next word, chasm. Sometimes you can cover up the bottom, try to remember what it is yourself. But as you're getting to know the words, you're going to read the whole card, stop for a minute, and then you're going to go to the next word. Assert, declare and argue. To the next card, tepid, neither hot nor cold, and so on. So spend about 10 minutes per day between now and the time you write your test, during fractions of time that would otherwise be wasted during your day. Spend these moments getting to know or familiarizing yourself with the list that's available in these resources. So slowly, you're going to start to get the feel for these words. And going forward in your life, if you're writing the SSAT and you're in middle school, chances are you're going to be doing other standardized tests in your life. It sounds like you're a pretty driven person. And what I like to suggest to students is don't get rid of these. Once you've made your pile, keep it somewhere. Put it away in your desk at home. Save it for your next standardized test because chances are the list is going to look very similar. So why do you prepare vocabulary for the SSAT? Well, 60 out of all of the marks on the test involve words that you probably haven't seen before. So get to know as many words as possible. It's really, really boring to do flashcards. It's really boring to do vocab development. But guess what? It's going to make you sound so smart when you're in a group situation and you're talking and you're using these great words. Or it's going to make you look so smart when you're writing an assignment and you know how to fluff things up a bit. And it's going to make you look brilliant when you score well in your SSAT. And this is an area, the verbal section is an area where you can really stand out from other students because most people know how to do well in math or their writing sample or their reading comp. But the vocab is a big factor in your verbal prep for the SSAT, and if you do a good job with it, I bet you can really make a difference in your percentile. So best of luck on your SSAT, and have fun using your fractions of time with these flashcards.